Pardon the pun, but Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably a film that you should see at once. It's a film that leans far more into the potential that cinema has as an art form rather than surface level entertainment, and is far richer because of that. And its refusal to conform to archetypal rules and regulations that we might project onto how a film should be made. It's a film that marries the absurdly ridiculous with the philosophically profound in such a way, and commits to it at such a level that you can't help but embrace its wackiness. It tackles the idea of the multiverse and the infinite notions of the self through such a kind of intricate family drama lens that really helps to ground the deeper study taking place. And what I love about this film is how it does explore the idea of the multiverse, because it's something that I wish Marvel and Disney understood about the multiverse, which is the idea that infinite possibility ultimately makes narrative redundant. And Everything Everywhere All at Once explores that nihilistic side of being all-seeing, being all-powerful, being able to connect and see different senses of yourself. But the gift of Everything Everywhere All at Once is that it uses this idea of omnipotence to expose the loneliness of the people who experience it. Knowing there's an infinite quantity of yourself, some of which are happy, some of which are sad, rich, poor, successful, unhappy, and from our main protagonist Evelyn being able to draw from and access different skill sets from her other selves, it has this fascinating dichotomy of essentially completing herself while leaving her hollow and absent that which makes her her. If that makes sense, I'm not even sure that I've interpreted the film right. It's the type of film that warrants studying at such a textual and subtextual level. All the core performances are really impressive, to the point where by the ending I was so surprised at how raw and powerful the acting was in those moments. To not only remind you that at its core the film is about family connection and reconnection, considering over the last 2 hours you've just watched a bizarre battle for total omnipotent control take place in a tax office, to be able to kind of ground the film in those final moments to such a human degree was just really stunningly moving. And I actually think my favourite part of the film, even at a visual level, was the realism that they bestowed into those human moments to make them land. Even amongst the, the kind of trippy visuals and the mind-bending cuts, the absolute bizarre fight scenes, butt plug brawl, I'll say no more, and yes, you heard me right. The absurdities and the borderline grotesque elements of this film really work. The fight scenes in the film are so flamboyantly grandiose, sort of reminding me of some of the fights from Kill Bill. And the ability to navigate such a tonal spectrum as the film kind of hybridizes every genre known to mankind is just so impressively done, to the point where everything feels like it means something and everything at the same time feels like it means nothing. One of my favourite parts of the film is essentially a still shot of two rocks as subtitled dialogue kind of anthropomorphizes them and has a conversation, because in this version of the universe, human beings communicate as rocks. And you just roll with it. I genuinely feel like it's the only way to embrace the film, and the only way to enjoy the film is not to go in with any preconceived expectations. I hadn't seen a trailer. I'd heard that it was about multiverses, and I knew that these guys had directed Swiss Army Man before that, which was weird and wacky in and of itself. So I kind of knew in advance to anticipate something I'd never seen before, and that is precisely what they give you. A really deep study of parental love, a study of marriage, a study of the conflict within oneself and the kind of struggles to reconcile who you are with who you could be and who you should be is so kind of at the forefront of the film. Even though the film is such a visual spectacle, with so many bizarre fight sequences, trippy costumes, trippy edits and cuts and transitions, the film is very much substance over spectacle, and I think that is the biggest achievement of the film. But I would absolutely urge anyone to give it a go at least once. The acting is sublime. The ability to be such a complex drama while complemented by humour and the kind of macabre horror is just so well balanced. Even if it's not your cup of tea, you just have to respect the dedication to making this film as palpably artistic as possible, because it shows and it feels seamlessly kind of unapologetic and relentless in its delivery of those themes and those concepts. I'm still trying to collate all my thoughts and wrap my head around lots of bits. I'm looking at so many behind the scenes kind of interviews of the film just to make sure I'm grappling with it on the right levels. But I would love to know what you guys think. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.